Good afternoon, Blues. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm talking about the topic that we don't talk about. Whisper it quietly. Is the treble talk possible? Is it possible? Are we going mad? Is it realistic? Is it something that we should actually consider as Manchester City fans? Because we're staring it down again. It's that time of year again. And to be honest, I'm just happy, and I genuinely mean this, as a City fan, that we're actually having this conversation. Do you remember when everyone was saying Guardiola was done, every single player was done, and the world was caving in yet again back around Christmas time? And guess what? Guardiola has turned it around to the point, as he keeps talking about, where that is potentially a fair discussion to have. That is just a massive, massive win in itself. So today, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it. We're going to just discuss it. We're just going to discuss it, be it positive or negative. We're going to discuss it anyway. I would quickly like to draw attention, though, to this competition over at Football Prizes. Do you want to win 2 hospitality tickets to the big game on Wednesday, a title decider? Well, Football Prizes have got 2 available. It costs £3 to enter, $2.95 to be honest. But the competition ends at 7:30 tonight. There's also loads of instant win prizes, PS5, cash, random, loads of stuff. Click the link in the description below if you want to get entered in what could be the most memorable Manchester City night of your life. One of the biggest games of the season, the biggest league game of the season. And you could be there in hospitality. It could be a night to remember. Click the link in the description below. Head over to Football Prizes. It's good stuff. And give yourself a little ante. You never know. You could win. It could be wonderful. So, this is going to be fun, isn't it? Now, yes, someone's just mentioned, said, Stephen, I like what you did there with the thumbnail. Who was it said that? It was John. John said it. Well, I did it for a reason. The thumbnail has Bruno Fernandes of Manchester United, Karim Benzema of Real Madrid, and of course, Bukayo Saka of Arsenal. And it has them for a reason, because we're going to talk about those teams, because they, right now as it stands, are the obstacles in Manchester City's way as we approach immortality. We stare it down, and it could be them that get in the way. They are. I put those 3 on the thumbnail for a reason, because it shows the size of the task that stands in front of us. You know, Haaland staring them down is absolutely intentional. Hello to Patrick. Rarely catch lives, but always try to watch back. Hope you and the family are well, Stephen. Keep up the great content. We're good, mate. Thank you very much. Good to see you here, my friend, as well. So, let's talk about what Manchester City have got to do. Hello to everyone, by the way, in the chat. It's very sweet, and some people are very nice there. Rahul and Xavier, I love you too, guys. So, let's talk about what we've got going on here. City, I'll bring the fixtures up on screen. I'll bring them up so we can talk about City's fixtures ahead of this game of football. Well, not for football, what City need to do. So these are City's fixtures that we got left. Of course, we won 3-0 the other day to get to the FA Cup final, which we now know is against Manchester United. I haven't done a video since then. I don't like it. I hate it. I couldn't decide if it's exciting or horrific. I think it's both, actually. To be honest, I think some of the best things that could have happened to you are also laced with fear at the other end of it, because the most exhilarating things are so close to touching the most scary things that you'll ever do. And playing Man United in an FA Cup final at Wembley, it's horrible. Absolutely horrible, which I am not looking forward to at all, man. Like, it's just not good. It isn't good at all. It could be incredible, but it's just painful because they're such a jammy, niggly, horrible side that I just do not want to play them at Wembley in an FA Cup final. There's too much on the line. But of course, way before that, this conversation that we're talking about right now could be over anyway. Now, of course, on Wednesday, Manchester City play Arsenal. If we beat Arsenal, the table will look very, very much in our favour. We will be 3 points behind them with 2 games in hand, which will be obviously very, very, very exciting. 2 points behind them, with 2 games in hand. That is huge. At that point, you'd be surprised if Manchester City didn't win the league. You would genuinely not be surprised. City's fixtures, of course, I mean, if you beat Arsenal, you suspect we'll beat Fulham, West Ham, Leeds back-to-back there. You would suspect that Manchester City would beat them. It's not guaranteed, of course, but those 3 fixtures there, if you win those 3 games after beating Arsenal mentally, they go. They just go. They absolutely go. And they see City winning games, and Arsenal then line up to play. I'll show you their fixtures. They line up to play Chelsea, Newcastle and Brighton, and all of a sudden you see them potentially dropping more points, and it does not look good for them at all. It looks in theory, on paper, like a difficult bunch of fixtures, doesn't it? It's not easy for them, man, at all. So at that point, City's probability is pretty high. It is. It just depends an awful lot, of course, on Manchester City beating Arsenal. Probability to win the league. Look, I would say right now the chances of winning the league feel 50-50. If we beat Arsenal, I would say the chances of City winning the league go to like 75%. Then if we win the games after that, it goes to 85, 90 at that point. I mean, it's just those 3 games after that, I think, are massive. Those ones there. You know, the Fulham, West Ham and Leeds games way before, of course, the Champions League. So Arsenal, we beat them, I think we'll win the league. That's my personal stance. I've been saying this for ages now. If we're in touching distance of Arsenal come the Etihad game and we beat them, we'll win the league. And that is the scenario we're currently staring down. So I think that one is fine. Then, of course, you've got the small manner of the Champions League semi-final. The Champions League fixtures, I'll bring them up right now. The semi-final, leg 1, of course, is Manchester City versus Real Madrid away at the Bernabeu. On the other side of the draw, you've got Milan derby, which is just incredible. An incredible turn of events over there on the other side. You've got a Manchester derby for the FA Cup final and a Milan derby for the Champions League semi-final. If City get past Real Madrid, if City get a decent result against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, and by that I mean not losing, at that point I'll feel like Manchester City can win it. This is the thing. If City beat Real Madrid here, or if they beat Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, my current confidence absolutely rockets in all competitions, because I feel like that would be a show of strength at this Manchester City side. Oh, very fucking serious and very real. Yeah, and I feel like you have to feel, in general, confidence that if City get to the Champions League final, AC Milan, let's look at Serie A. AC Milan are currently sat in 5th. Inter currently sat in 6th. Oh, these are the 5th and 6th best teams over in Italy right now. They've done a phenomenal job to get where they are, and I would never take any team lightly. But at this point, if you get to the Champions League final against them, surely you would suspect that Manchester City could beat them and would finally end our Champions League jinx. Get the first one out the way. I would suspect they would do. I think we've got too much quality at that point. I mean, we should be beating teams who win 1 out of every other game in the Serie A, shouldn't we? They're not Napoli who've ran away or, with the league. We should be beating them at that point. And I suspect we will do for what it's worth. So then you've got the big question of, do we get past Real Madrid? I don't know, man. The way I feel about it is, I remember my reaction when we drawn Bayern Munich. I was a bit scared about that. But I did say, I feel like if we get past Bayern Munich, we will actually get past Real Madrid, because I feel like the confidence we'll gain from it will be too much. And I feel like there's an element of revenge that's necessary. We've beaten before, of course. We've done him a few years back with Gabriel Jesus at the Bernabeu when City won 2-1. De Bruyne penalty, Jesus header. And we obviously knocked him out that year. I don't see why we can't do it again. I feel like, of course, last year we should have battered them. We could have had 6 or 7 in the first leg. We didn't have Haaland that year. But now we do have Haaland. So the thing for me is, all of a sudden, things become a little bit more realistic and a little bit more possible because of Erling Haaland. And I feel like we can potentially beat them. Then you look at the rest of the games: Everton, Chelsea, Brighton, Brentford. Then, of course, United there in the FA Cup final. Look, the way where we're at right now is it feels weird to say that. I don't think it's unrealistic to talk about it. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's still, the odds are very much against Manchester City. But the way I would say is that I don't think it's an unrealistic discussion, which is crazy, because we feel like this Manchester City side right now. Maybe let's talk about why it doesn't feel unrealistic. Maybe it is unrealistic, but the reason it doesn't feel unrealistic is because this City side seem to have the answers for most situations that they're fronted with at the moment. Genuinely, it feels like, be it a horrible, aggressive onslaught away at the Allianz, City survive, be it a tricky Leicester City fighting relegation with a bit of energy and a late comeback, City survive, be it Liverpool at home, a 4-1 victory, a battering of Leipzig and Burnley, Newcastle was tough and gritty, 2-0 victory, Palace away. It feels at the moment we're seeing answers to solutions, and I think it's because of the versatility of the players that we've got, combined with the strength, finally, the players that we've got. I saw someone say it recently that these days City don't tend to play players in the team that have weak mentalities, and we don't really. And by the way, I'm not jinxing City SDL, because I'm not actually saying it's going to happen. I probably think it won't, but we're discussing the idea of why that feels like such a big topic. This is just it's a discussion around a talking point as other than saying it's a name. I'm not one to say we're going to do it because I still think it's probably a little bit too big. I think going to come unstuck somewhere potentially, and I think probability gets smaller and smaller. And when the odds are against you to do something like that, I'm going to Google what the odds are. Odds Man City treble. Let's have a look. What the bookies are saying. What are the bookies saying? 7-4. They're quite small odds. It's really interesting. I'm surprised by how small they are. That's quite interesting, isn't it? I mean, they're really low odds, the treble odds, and the bookies have done that, I guess, for a reason, because I guess what everyone's seeing right now is a Manchester City side with just power, and it's vindicated when you see the performance against Bayern the other day, and we're seeing something like this currently being City's strongest 11, or maybe Foden will be involved somewhere, I don't know, but this is something like approaches City's 11 at the moment. Ederson, Akanji, Diaz, Ake, hopefully he'll be back soon. Stones, Rodri, Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Grealish and Haaland. What you've got there is you've got experience and leaders all over the pitch, literally potential captains everywhere. You've got no one who feels sorry for themselves on the pitch there at all. We've had players previously in the past that are a bit too emotional, I would say. We don't really have that anymore. We've got people who are absolutely all committed to each other there. Guardiola said there's a few players in the past that have been a little bit moany when they're not in the team. And that is people like Laporte, Cancelo, Mahrez a little bit. Guardiola said it the other day. These players, look, I'm not doubting their professionalism, but a lot of those players are a little bit maybe sort of mildly self-centered on the pitch at the moment. And to me, I think that's relatively telling. I think the focus that you get from this team is they're all like, Ederson is wild and fearless, but Diaz, Ake, captain material. Akanji is a leader as well. I think he's probably captain teams at some point before. John Stones is absolutely like fearless captain material. Rodri is. Kevin De Bruyne leads by example, captain material. Jack Grealish, captain Aston Villa, by the way, works really hard. Haaland will guaranteed captain Norway at some point if he hasn't already. But Haaland's got that aura and that charisma and presence that makes him a leader in the way that Ronaldo was from Madrid, for example. Gundogan captains teams. Bernardo Silva, relentless, your first soldier. So you've got a bunch of players there on the pitch who just are fearless, work really hard, don't feel sorry for themselves, and are absolutely selfless. Then you get people like Foden coming onto the team as well. Then the quality of Mahrez, and then Alvarez who can come on, who can just change the game. Hopefully, of course, Ake will be back soon. That'd be great, because I don't know how long Ake is out for. Have we had an update about Ake yet? Please correct me if I'm wrong. And I know people are scared about jinxing it, but I'm not trying to do that. I'm asking the question. And I think the reason people talk about it being... that's where I feel, by the way, SDL. Like, I would say I'd only take the idea of a treble seriously, probably slightly bit earlier than you. I would say if we beat Arsenal, then at that point, I think the winning the Premier League is a very high possibility. If we get a good leg at the first leg Bernabeu victory, then at that point I'd be like, okay, we can talk about this potentially, man. And obviously it'd be stupid not to talk about a treble if you reach Champions League final and the FA Cup final and we're top. I mean, at that point anyone can talk about it. It'd be stupid not to. But I guess what I would argue is that we're only like 2 games away, in my opinion, from seeing it potentially unfold. That's what makes it really exciting. David, I saw that mid-May thing, but that was just based off FOTMob on the internet, which was a guess. There's been no official announcement anywhere, so it's just a guess from some online site, but it's not official information. The back-to-back away thing at Brentford and Brighton scares. I'm sorry, by the way, Brillo's just shut down the entire video. Brillo knows more than anyone here, but not winning it, end of. Brillo, why are you watching this video then, mate? Well, if you're here just to tell everyone to stop talking about it, I hate when people do that, by the way. End of, as if they're say. I love you, Brillo, by the way. But when people go, no, that's it. I've spoken. End of. No, it's not. Like, you might be right, but it's not this end of the conversation. We can talk about it while it's possible. Well, Mike just said we're winning it all. End of. So who do we take, Brillo or Mike? I think it's a reasonable discussion, and that's why I think it's interesting about it. And I don't think it's positive right now. I'd say it's probably too difficult. I'm only winding you up, Brillo, by the way. I don't think it's incredibly unlikely. And I feel like the reason I feel like it as well is I feel like everyone's a bit scared of Man City at the moment. Like, I feel like the City, I think there's an aura genuinely, by the way, let's not pounding on Brillo. I was only winding him up. Brillo, it's all good. The thing is I would say is, like, I feel like the aura that Manchester City are developing, this fear factor, like, if you look online now, it's like United fans are shitting it about playing us. Arsenal fans are giving up a lot of elsewhere. City have an inevitability feel about right now, and I think it's come from years and years of City steamrolling and chasing teams down. That I feel like people actually now just are genuinely, legitimately more and more fearful about Manchester City every single year. And when you've got that fear factor, they start to take notice. People start to take notice, and for me, that is what makes Manchester City potentially have the upper hand in this scenario. I actually don't blame people who think it could happen, which is a crazy thing to say out loud. I'm naturally more cautious, but I don't think it's an insane discussion to have. I mean, it's all Brillo, it's all good, man. I get it, and I'm worried. By the way, my general opinion on life is that there's no such thing as jinxing. I don't think any of us could talk anything into existence that would affect anything on the pitch. I don't think we're capable. It's very. I mean, I know everyone wants to talk in silence, take one game as it goes, but I guarantee you the players will be doing that. As fans, we're allowed to speculate. We're football fans, and it's a crazy thing to talk about. But I guess the biggest take from me is that having this conversation entirely just shows how much things have turned around from when City were losing their heads back in January, and we were all absolutely devastated and thinking this is a transition season, and maybe it actually is. But where we've come from, it's just remarkable what Guardiola has done, and I think that to me is the biggest thing to take about it. Do I think it's going to happen? Might be too much. Maybe Madrid or United will ruin the party. I think we'll win the league, by the way. But one of those two, I think, could ruin the party because they're just United at Wembley, VAR, stupid goal, something like that. I don't know, man. I don't know. I can see something like that potentially happening. That's how I feel. That's what worries about me because we could still play well and not do it. That's the thing about the Champions League, It's like one of those things where, and Champions League and the FA Cup, all of them, all these things, you can still play well and lose. As Guardiola said the other day, like the penalty against Akanji, was so harsh. It was so fucking harsh, man. Like that penalty where you just kicked the ball at his hand from half a yard, he bounced off his foot and hit him, and that was a penalty against him. That could have cost us the Champions League potentially on another day. And like, at what point do we say that's our fault? It isn't. That's how small the margins are, man. Like, it's difficult. It's really difficult, and that's why I am fearful a little bit of how we could do it. If we lose to Arsenal, is the league over? It's not over, no, because as it stands currently, we've got 2 games. They'll be on 78 points at that point. If we win both our games in hand anyway, it's 76. So, no, is the honest answer. It would be 2 points behind them. They'd have to put it to Newcastle and Brighton. So, weirdly, it makes it harder, but no, not at all. 2 points behind with how many games left at that point? There would be 5 games left. Not at all, man. Newcastle and Brighton for them, no chance. And I think they'd be scared still and nervous, but obviously that would be a massive blow and a massive boost for them. So it's going to be interesting. To me, my conclusion, it's not insane to talk about it. It's still probably unlikely, but the way I'm going to judge it is based off where we are after the Arsenal game and after the first leg of the Champions League semi-final. At that point, I feel like we can do it. Because they are 2 big tests for me. Arsenal, Real Madrid, Bernabeu. Arsenal, Etihad. Beat Arsenal, Etihad. Beat Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. And things look very, very, very exciting. Guys, do let me know down in the comments, of course, if you think Manchester City could win it. It's a crazy thing. It's a crazy thing to talk about, but it's realistic. Of course, the first game up that could help us feel confident is the Arsenal game. You could win if you head over to Football Prizes by clicking the link in the description below. 2 hospitality tickets. It's a raffle, so you pay to enter for a raffle. But you could win the best night of your life. So good luck if you do enter. And fingers crossed one of you guys win. And I'd also like to say, by the way, I am actually at Manchester tomorrow. If you want to come and see me chat to Sean Gota, I cannot wait to do this, man. I genuinely can't wait to do it. It could be a really memorable night. I'm hosting an event for the first time in person live. I've never done that before. I've never sat with a mic on a stage in front of people. I've sang on stage in front of people, but I've never sat down and chatted to people. And tomorrow night, I will be doing that. And hopefully some of you guys can come click this tweet. Go to this tweet over here. I'll retweet it again right now, actually, if you want to find it. It's at the Waldorf in Manchester if you want to come down and meet Sean Gota. He's an absolute legend, man, and I can't wait to chat to him tomorrow night. I can't wait to see some of you faces there as well. If you're coming, do let me know, of course. Super chat as well. Where's it gone before? I jump away. The Mancunian Way. Go and subscribe to them. Lovely people over there. Said, I just realised I wasn't subscribed. Sorted that now. Hope you and the family are good, mate. Treble is on. No good, mate. I'm not subscribed to a lot of channels, really, but I still get the recommendations because I watch their content, so I know how that feels. Do not worry about it at all. And we're good, mate. We're good. We are good. Thank you very much. Treble is on. There we go. You've spoken. I absolutely love that. Guys, thanks for watching this video. I'll catch you all very soon. Hopefully, I'll catch some of you at the Waldorf tomorrow. That would be wonderful. I'd love to see some of you guys there. And if not, up the Blues. We could win it all. We could do. Maybe not. We'll see. Let me know in the comments. Bye-bye. And subscribe to the channel.